Okay. Thank you everyone for joining this session. So today we are going to see how to run the daily stand-up call effectively. So as a Scrum Master, how can we do this effectively to increase the transparency and build the trust in the team? So before starting, let me introduce myself. I'm Vishnu Priya. You can call me as Priya. I have more than 23 years of experience in IT industry, spanning across development, testing, mostly on the technical side, and now I'm on the agile management. I have 5+ years of hands-on experience in the safe agile, and right now I'm lead agile coach and also a enterprise agile coach. So I also have DevOps experience. I have worked on various tools in DevOps, and I'm a qualified safe SPC trainer with excellent feedback from the students. So there will be assurance of definite takeaway on my courses like Jira or Safe courses. I have many students here, Gagan, Venkat, they are all my students. So and also I coach them on the SM, RTE, POPM, how to write a story, how to write acceptance criteria, all those things. So without further delay, we will go on to the presentation. So whenever you have some questions, you can ask me or raise your hand, or you can unmute yourself and ask the question. So what is a stand-up call? Why we have to do that? Why it is very important? What is the meeting format we are going to see? Like what would be the meeting format we can use as a Scrum Master or the facilitator to make it very effective? And also the tips for the Scrum Master to do that, and also the challenges and the solution. So I have taken all your challenges from your registration form, and so I have taken all your challenges from the registration form, and I have given solution as much as possible. Like we can also discuss further. So let's see about the DSU first. So daily stand up is a cadence based event. What do you mean by cadence? It's like at a specific time interval, you have to meet with the team. That is called cadence, like a frequency. So DSU is a frequency of 24 hours. So if we are meeting at 6 o'clock or 8 o'clock AM, then you have to meet 24 hours, 8 o'clock, to discuss about your daily progress. So this meeting is very short but very, very powerful. How do you take it? As a SM, how do you take this meeting is very, very important. So the SM needs to schedule and facilitate the DSU. So if you are a Scrum Master, you have to schedule this call every 24 hours at a particular time, and you have to facilitate that meeting. So who has to be the participants? Your all team members who is working on that particular requirement, or who is considered as an agile team, those people will be the participants, plus your product owner who is from the business side. In your organization, it may be a product owner or a business analyst, but there should be somebody from the business analyst side and from the technical team side, which is your agile team members. So the duration of your DSU will be 30 minutes. Don't schedule 15 minutes call. Definitely you have to do it with 30 minutes. If you do that, then you have some time for your parking lot or for meet after. So we will discuss about that. So the first 15 minutes, you have to start with your team members on the progress of their work. The next 15 minutes or next 10 minutes, so it may extend to 15 to 20 minutes, but remaining 10 minutes, you can reserve it for your discussion, which can be called either as a parking lot or a meet after, to discuss about your impediments, blockers, and any information needed for the team members. So this DSU presentation is based on my experience, not based on the 3 questions or something like that. So the format of 3 questions, what I did yesterday, what I am going to do today, not on that format. The format is covered, but extra I have covered with my experience. You tell me whether it is useful for you. And then the frequency is like 24 hours on weekdays, and you have to sync and plan for the next 24 hours. So that is about your DSU. And then how the format will look like for the first 15 minutes. So what I have completed since the last stand up, why I have brought this question, because everybody used to tell what I have completed yesterday, today, like that, what I'm going to do today, like that. Instead of that, we are all from the different time zone. Better you can have the question like this: what I have completed since the last stand up. So that makes sense because we are all from different time zones. And what I will be planning to do now or after the call. So this question will make you what would be the future plan for the next 24 hours. And the third question is like, are there any blockers or impediments or challenges that you can discuss? And then, and then the fourth one, it's not in the normal DSU format. With my experience, I have given this fourth format, which is like any clarification needed from the team members, product owners, and SM, because we have to get clarified for the requirements, or within the team we may have a technical clarifications, or with yes, some action item will be there. So that action item we have to discuss with the other team members. So the fourth question I have added, I hope you also agree with the fourth question. And then the last 15 minutes or 10 minutes, you can reserve it for meet after or a parking lot to discuss about your blockers and the clarification that you require. So, and what are all the action item? So action item, SM needs to record. I will show it in the format demo. So I have copied one Jira dashboard where they have a column like to do, blocker, development, and done. You can have different columns. I'm going to take another session on this, but right now you know about it. This is the board. It can be a Scrum board or it can be a Kanban board. So you have to show the board to the team. Then only the team will understand. Then only the team will be crisp and clear requirements. They know who is working on which one. So you have to show the board. Right now, everybody is using different tools like Jira, Rally, Monday.com. So many tools are there. Mostly Jira is worked and Azure DevOps, I think. So I think the format of the DSU goes like this. And then any questions till now? Okay. Because of the silence, I am going. Yeah. Anybody has questions? Okay. Why this? Yeah, please.
No, please.
Okay, thank you. So why DSU is important? So everybody question is like, why this call is very important. So if people are asking like that, ask them to not to attend the DSU for 1 week minimum. Then they will know the importance of DSU, because there will not be any transparency. So if the people are asking like that, you have to bring all these pointers to them. So definitely it will improve the communication between the team members. What are you working on? That alignment will give you more clarity on the team. Definitely, whenever you see the board, it promotes the transparency, which leads to trust, right? So whenever, as much as you are transparent, your trust develops. So in our personal relationship also, whenever we are more transparent with our partner, definitely there will be a trust between the relationships. Likewise, organization also, we have to believe on transparency that leads to trust. Definitely, it is a teamwork. So Agile works on a teamwork, it not on a time and material. So you have to work on a team work, that this DSU initiate that teamwork. And also, whenever you are discussing for 15 minutes, definitely you will keep focus on your goal and your work, and it won't deviate from that goal or deviate from the work or the sprint work. So that helps a lot. And definitely every 24 hours, if you meet, definitely there will be a identification of problems then and there, right? It is not required that you have to tell your problems in DSU. Whenever you feel there is a problem, send out an email, send out a message or a chat box or any communication channel, and then you can deliver it in the DSU about that email. So that way, it is required to tell the problems then and there, but DSU will make everyone to understand the problem in the meeting. And then the next one is like there is a enhanced team collaboration. So why? Because whenever there is a problem, people can give some suggestions. So there will be a collaborative effort place here. And then you can address the impediments and blockers. For example, if I need some environments need to be set up. So at that time, if you address like a impediment, then another team member or the SM can facilitate to resolve that impediments or blockers to move across your flow to complete. And then this DSU will proactively help each other by swarming. So what is maybe swarming is like, this is like a production car, right? In a car company, whenever they have a problem, there is a card hanging on the top of that particular car workstation. They pull the card, everybody will come to that particular workstation, work on the problem and resolve it. Likewise, in software industry, when there is a critical issue, you can move it to the blocker, then everybody will come and give you some suggestions to resolve that problem. That is called swarming. And then focus on the dependencies. Definitely, without dependencies, we cannot work, right? So there will be some dependency. So that also can be resolved during this DSU. So all these are very important points. You can show these points whenever people are telling, I don't want DSU or something. Even if they are not listening, you ask them to take a leave for DSU like 2 days to 1 week. Then they will know that there should be a DSU to address the issues. So how you can do the DSU very interesting, like a
Question.
Yeah, please. Yeah,
Hi,
Gagan.
Priya. Like, if you go back to your the slide 3, probably.
Yeah, sure.
So even the question, no, I'm sorry, what was that? Maybe a fourth one where you have redefined your questions, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, question. I mean, sometimes isn't it feel like, or sometimes I hear also like it's more like a micromanaging. Even when you have just rephrase your questions, what you have done yesterday, what are you going to do today, and what I mean. I totally understand the blockers and impediments, but the other two questions seems like, or even yeah, others like it's more like micromanaging. What are you doing? What you have done, and all.
No, you have to know that.
That.
No, you have to know that instead of framing the question what you have done, that's why I have reframed as what I have completed.
Yeah, it's basically it's give the same sense, right? Even though if you have rephrased your questions, you're saying what I have completed since the last stand up. I mean, you are asking, are you working or not working? Okay.
Why?
Sorry.
Because it is not a micromanagement. It is like, what are you working on so that you can pass it on to another. For example, what I have completed, if you want to move from development to testing, I don't have a column here, but if you want to move from development to testing, that I have completed the development, I'm moving it to testing. So that way you can improve your communication. It is not a micromanagement. It is like a format that you have to use, and no need to go into the details. Give the crisp and clear thing that I'm working on this Jira number or some tool number. That's it. And if you want to do the discussion, you can do it in the parking lot for further discussion. This is not seems to be like a micromanagement, but without that we cannot start with the blocker or impediment. So the blocker impediment groundwork is like, you have to tell this, otherwise it would be really difficult. But you can try practically without telling this, then you will end up in like which blocker or something like that. It is like you have to start with the first question. So that way it will help you, but you can try practically. So Agile is like an empirical method. You have to try practically sometimes. So I understand your point, but without this, we cannot go for the blockers where your blocker is belonging to. So that way.
Yeah, no harm asking that, but I would say to run effectively, I think we should give a priority to those items that has blocker and impediments, and then come up to, if you have a time, then others can, they put up, like if the story is going smoothly, development is completed, now is in testing, there should be a last part, I mean, for someone to give a status. Hey, let's go with the folks who have actually a blockers and impediments, let's give a priority to those, the team members. Hey, can you jump in and provide your updates first? What's going on?
Yeah,
And the least ones is
that's
gonna
what
be...
I'm going to. That's what I'm going to, the meeting format. So there is another format which I can add here, like impediments first or blocker first. Or blocker first is one format which I forgot to include that, but your point is correct. You can go with your impediment blocker first team members, and then you can concentrate on the people. But anyway, you have to follow 15 minutes, like whether you have a blocker or impediment. If you have a blocker, then you will go for a meet after or a parking lot to discuss, but all the team members will be telling that. Otherwise, some people may skip the impediment or blocker because they may be engaged in some other personal activities. They may forget that. One of my registration person has told, like, people are forgetting the impediments. So that way, if you give the round robin for everyone to tell that, then they will remember what is a blocker. That way it will help. But you can also go with this format, like impediment or blocker first. People can go first in the meeting format. That way you can do. That is very helpful.
Yeah, I started that, and I think it's getting better. I mean,
okay. Yeah. You can do that. So are you okay with that? Can we move on?
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Okay. So how do we do the meeting format interesting? So each person can be called, and then you can, like, whenever you finish your status or your progress, then you can point out to some person, which is like a popcorn technique. You can do that. And then you can also go from person to person around the circle, or you can have it like a alphabetical order, or the order in the call they present. Always there will be an alphabetical order. You can go ascending order or descending order based on your interest or whatever the mood you have it on that day. And third one is like you can pass on some ball. This star is given like only direct calls. If you are in the same room, then you can pass some ball from one person to another, which will be like giving more physical activity during that call, and it would be very interactive. So you can pass on the ball to someone, they can tell the progress, and then they can move on to the next person by throwing the ball. And then the last one on the direct call is like cards. So whenever the person enters the room, they can be given one numbered card. So that person can tell that, so that we can give some importance to the punctuality. And then definitely, even if it is a direct call or a remote call, you can walk the board. That is very important. So even if it is your Scrum team or a Kanban team, you can go with the board walkthrough. And then the next one is like sub-team based. So mostly I have worked on the sub-team, if there are 12 people, 3 people are working on database and 4 people on API and remaining people on UI. So I will consolidate those people and go with that order, so that I can complete the DSU effectively. As you said, you can go with the impediment and blocker first. So first, what you have to do in this case, as you said, Gagan, what you have to do is like whoever has the impediments, you can note down those people, and those people can raise a hand and they can go with that progress. They can tell their progress, and then you can go with the normal thing. So Venkat, what is your question?
Yes, yeah, the sub teams actually we can have testers also, right? QA team also, right?
Yeah, we can have that. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, QA team. So that is a very good point.
Why a sub team as a QA? I mean, the QA is a part of a dev, isn't the story? It's not a separate.
No, it's not a separate, but what Venkat is telling, and I'm also telling, is like, for example, the development team can be working on the DB, API, and UI, and the testing team, they can come together. It is not like a separation on the functionality of stories he is telling. It is like if there are like 8 developers and 3 testers, you can go with the testers as a whole so that you can discuss all the bugs raised by the QA. It's not on the functionality. Gagan, are you okay with that?
Okay.
Yeah, I can
Yes.
clarify you in the offline what he is
Okay.
telling. Others are okay with this, like a QA separately, not separately in the sense QA team. They are all part of development team, but the testing team can give the status as a continuously. I usually follow this, but Gagan, if you have some questions, we will discuss during this week.
Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, I'm okay with the DB or API or ETL. Yeah, but QA and UI, yeah, maybe we can discuss more.
So the
Yeah,
QA, Priya,
yeah,
QA, I mean, the tester won't be the part of the Scrum team?
They are part of the Scrum team. What I intend or what Venkat is telling is like whenever you are asking the status, you can have the sub-team based status so that you can consolidate all those things at a time. So, and your mind will also work on the testing related stuff. Like, for example, in your board, if there is a column called testing, at that time, if you have a testing team, like for example, Venkat, Abhinav, and Gandhimati are in the testing, they can be clubbed together and give the progress so that we can cover only the testing related activities during that progress. That's what it means.
So in the daily stand-up, they won't be available. We have to conduct a new stand-up.
No, they will be available. They are the part of the agile team. But what the meeting format we are talking about, how to give the status. If
Yeah, yeah, it's one of the method. I think Shalanga, that's what they're saying. Like first, dev team can go, then the other ones, DB API team can go
Okay.
next. As the QA team will go the next, just like that. I guess the order.
yeah, correct.
To provide their status here. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
I usually go with a popcorn, yeah, but again, the first is an impediment blocker first, and then in a popcorn fashion, yeah.
Yeah, we can do one thing, like if we get some time today, we can do with this approach, like this approach, the sub-team based. Usually, if you are working on a scaled agile project, you will have many people in the same team with the DB, API, UI. You can consolidate that, like three people may be there. At that time, whenever you are asking the status on DB, again, you will go for API and then UI. Better you can consolidate and do it. Once you complete it, you can go for QA. So during your release time, you can go with QA for first round so that the release related problems will get resolved in the first, and then you can see with that. So that way so it depends on the situation, right? So the Scrum Master have to see which week they are in. So I'm going to give some tips on that so you will understand. So now you are all okay with the meeting format. There are so many meeting format, but for this exercise, I have given only 5 or 6, but if you want, I can share more. Moving on to the SM with the DSU call, but this is like a very big slide, but very easy to go through. So before that, Gagan, you have any question or anybody has any question?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. It's really interactive. So how do you have SM with the DSU? Because SM is the driver, right, for DSU. So you have to hold the meeting at the same time. That suits for the team. So whenever you set up a DSU call, you have to ask them which time suits for everyone, and everybody needs to attend that call. And you have to follow the meeting agenda. So whenever you are sending the invite, follow the agenda with the format they have to follow. If they are not following, then you can write something like Elmo and all. I will be explaining those challenges and solution. So you have in the meeting invite, you have to put the agenda of the meeting and your board link. That is very, very important. So the format of the questions they have to answer, and and their what is that, your board link. That is very important. And then you should, maybe your team size maybe 5 to 13 maximum, plus product owner or your business analyst, depends on your organization. If it is more, I have handled those like many people, like maximum 20 people I have handled in DSU. I usually complete within half an hour, sometimes within 20 minutes. So I have a very well structured team because of all these techniques and tools I followed. If you have some team size more than 13, let me know how to handle that. I will let you know. And as a SM, you have to be on time. If you are not on time, tell another SM, another backup SM, or your person who is really interested in Agile, they have to take care of it. But you have to be on time, very punctual, and you have to start within 2 minutes. So for example, if the DSU is at 8 o'clock, you have to start by 8:02 maximum, or 8:03. And then start on time, have a buffer of 2 to 3 minutes. I usually start within 2 minutes, and use different formats of startup to make it interesting. But I'm not asking you to change the format every day. That will confuse the team and also confuse on the priorities. Better you can do that different format, lightly tweak the format on Friday. So Friday it would be really cool, right? So you can try the different format. And definitely you have to share the screen, even if you are, yeah.
Okay, I have a question. Sorry to interrupt you here. So first of all, start on time. I'm always having, since this, the virtual DSUs we have, is always some issues, whether they have WebEx issues or some, some of them have some network issues and all. So it's very difficult to start actually on time. It's always late, 3 minutes to 5 minutes, sometimes, because of this virtual, especially the offshore folks, they're unable to join.
No, you have to make it like a practice that you have to start within 2 to 3 minutes. Don't delay by 5 minutes. Then see, sometimes people may tell like they may be late, but they will tell it's a network issue. But I don't think that is a network issue. But the thing is, like, anyway, they will be joining, right? But the thing is, like, make sure they have to start their WebEx 2 minutes before the call, so that they can arrive at the 8 or 8:02. So don't make it as a practice. Otherwise, we are not giving importance to the people who is coming punctual. So if there is a problem, they have to start the WebEx before 2 minutes. For example, you want to go to school. The school starts at 9 o'clock. So whether you can excuse in the school, no, right? So if there is a problem, they can chat, give a chat message or something like that. But daily, it is not that kind. Don't encourage that. So if you are going to school late, next day what you will do? You will start little early to reach the school, right? That punctuality should be there in the organization also. So organization, we are taking it as granted for everything for late, but in our childhood days, everything is like punctual. So better ask them to start the WebEx before 2 minutes, and then you can start with that. So is that okay for you?
Yeah, I mean, I tried that. Yeah, I mean, are others facing same issue? I mean, anyone has any issue with that? Folks are joining late. Other Scrum Masters?
No,
Here.
I have not faced that issues yet. But I have faced issues like one of my team member didn't wanted to join. He told he was like, I'll put on the status on the Jira. So I had that time that people didn't wanted to join. I mean, they didn't feel that important, the stand-up call.
Yeah, we will discuss about that. Gagan, we will discuss on this lateness also in the problem, challenges and solution. Is that okay?
Okay, that's fine. And about the different formats also, you're going to discuss more later, right? You said there's some interesting different formats of stand-up.
No, I really don't have time to discuss on the format, but I can share the link. You can refer there. Is that fine?
Oh, these are the formats. Okay, you're talking about. I thought, okay, there's something else. Okay.
Okay.
When you say use different format, okay.
No. Use different format is like this meeting format. I can give the link to that particular slide.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you.
And definitely you have to share with the Scrum or Kanban board. That is very important. And if you are a new Scrum Master to a team, make it like a roll call, because until you're comfortable with the team, you have to tell the name of the person. So better have like Gagan, Gandhimati, Venkat, Abhinav, Shalakar, like that. You can tell the name so that you will be comfortable. So first 2 months, it is really difficult to be comfortable with the team. So make it like this format. And always have the product owner status at the end, because they may be having some requirement change or some status from the stakeholders or the business. So have park for the PO later. You should have always a notepad and a pen with you as a Scrum Master to note down something. So that will help you a lot. And sometimes you can raise a question, right? For example, if the user story point is 5, but it is going beyond 5 days or something like that, the estimation, then I don't want to go into the estimation. We will take it later. But whenever there is a question you need to ask, you can ask those questions. That's not a problem, but make it very crisp and clear and short. And then summarize the impediments and the next steps, whatever you have noted down. If it is a release time, like before 15 days, keep on checking your release time, release activities, release items, check on those activities, whether it is completed. Go to your Jira release page and then check whether all those release items are completed. So that way you are very comfortable with the release item. And prioritize the aging issues. For example, if the estimation is 5 days, but it's going beyond more than the estimation, then you can ask them what is the priority, why you are not doing, why it is taking time, whether we need to revisit the estimation. So this may be a micromanagement, but if you are not asking, the team will take it for granted. And also close the call with some happy note, like have a good day, night, or if it is a Friday, you can tell happy weekend. And also if you have some time, you can ask some team members, where are you planning for your weekend? So all these happy notes will make the team feel like that they have to come for the DSU. So that is there. I think the same thing for the tips on the momentum. And then going for the problems and proposed solutions. So team members are not joining the DSU. And then the PO absence for more than 3 days, like if they are not there, then how they can clarify the requirements. Venkat raised about 15 minutes is not enough. The storytelling, some people will start telling the story, this, that, we have to do that. And I experienced those kind of people. At that time, you have to do some solution or working agreement for that. And how to time box. So some people are going beyond their control. So I am categorized the problems separately for each problem. And team feel the DSU is not needed. I think Venkat have that problem and Shalaka have that problem. And then keeping quiet about the obstacle. Some other people have raised this, like sometimes they will not tell the obstacle and then they will tell after some time. So, and not productive and efficient. Team things like that, and forget to update the blockers and dependencies, because they may be forgetting. And how to control the crowd when extending, that also we have a solution. And the problem solving in DSU. So we should not go into the problem, but we can facilitate how to solve the problem. So that way the Scrum Master plays a role. So these are all the solutions we have. So so whenever the people are telling about the storytelling or a big conversation, at that time you can follow this Elmo. Enough, let's move on. So anybody can raise a Elmo in the chat box or in the audio saying that this topic is boring, can we take later sometime? So we can follow this Elmo procedure, which you can do it in your working agreement. So in your working agreement, you tell that this is the format and you have to follow that. And I'm also going to show one demo on Aware DSU format, which I'm going to show a demo, which will be helpful for you. And report the blockers. Whenever there is a blocker, report through email or chat, because then the people will get prepared for it. For example, if there is a blocker in the requirement, send a DG with your team name's email ID that I have a blocker on this, then definitely the PO, whenever he or she sees the email, then they will come prepared for the blocker. So don't wait for DSU to happen. Whenever there is a blocker or impediment, you report it through some communication channel where the team will be. And you have to train them on the information radiator. Some columns the team may not know from which column we have to move to which column. For example, development in review means once the development is complete, you have to move it for in review. Then only the lead will review that code. Once it is reviewed, the lead should move on to the in testing. In that case, in testing may be in your SIT environment or a UAT environment, that you have to tell the team which environment that they are moving into, then the testing team will test it. So the information radiator is nothing but your Scrum board or a Kanban board, which gives you information. Even your dashboards are also, graphs are also information radiators. So you have to make them train on that Jira board or whatever the tool they are using. And also explain the format of the call every 1 month or every 2 months, because there will be some newcomers coming up. So that solves many problems. And ask the team to prepare for the call before like you have 2 minutes or 3 minutes to start your call, right? At that time, they have to prepare for the call, whether they have an impediment, whether what they are working. They have to be very crisp and clear. Some people may be like using very good communication on this. They prepare very well, and you also have to prepare for your call, whether you have to give some update on your SOS, Scrum calls and things like that. So you can do a meet after for specific problem. How to control the crowd when extending this meet after will give a solution for that. For example, if the problem is specific only to the development team, like who is doing the coding and testing, I'm not differentiating between the development team and the testing team or kind of like that. If the specific problem is related to the coding or something related to coding, then those people can stay there and others can leave the call. So at that time, you can control the crowd. And you can, whenever there is a release, start with the appreciation note so that it would be really helpful for the team. And at the end, you can update on the action item if required. If there are any action item, I will show it in the our DSU format. And use your soft skill. Like you should not at all get angry for anything. Even if they push you down, you have to be like smile and get up. So use your soft skill. If you don't have soft skill, if you have the tendency to get angry, do some meditation, make yourself very good on the soft skills. That is very, very important. Be a servant leader, like growing of others, and be polite always. So this is about the whole problems and proposed solution. If anything is not addressed, we can discuss. But before that, I want to go for the format of DSU that solves many problems. So this is about the presentation. We started little late. That's why it is taking some time. Can I go for the format or any questions?
One question, Priya.
Yeah.
As per safe Scrum rules, the product owners has to compulsorily attend that daily sync every day, or how it is?
Yes.
Okay. But because most of the time in my projects, product owners not attended the meeting.
No, you have to have a one-on-one call with him, that this is the principle we followed in Agile Manifesto principles, like the business and the developer should work together. That is one of the principles in Agile Manifesto. Tell them that this is the format, have one-on-one 1 or 2 times, definitely they will come. Otherwise, they have to come at least alternative days. Otherwise, the people will lose the interest. They will not ask any requirement questions. It is better to have them.
Okay, thanks.
Sometimes they want to discuss more in like a PO sync sessions, right? And they don't want to join DSU or have conflict during DSUs.
Yeah, that's why you have to schedule the DSU which suits for everyone. Like it's a 15 minutes call, right? So if the PO is coming for 15 minutes, you can ask the team to prioritize which are all the requirement impediments and ask the PO, and he or she can go after that. POC can happen during the afternoon time, because if they are in US or UK, it happens in the afternoon time. But whenever there is a time zone difference, then that's why you have to discuss with your team and get the DSU time from everyone. You have to buy in time where everyone can attend that call. For my current project, they usually like very busy in the morning because they have to collaborate things. So we usually have it at 11 o'clock. They will come to the 11 o'clock call EST, and then they will leave for the home from India side, or they can travel to home and then they can take the DSU call from home. So you have to work out on that, Gagan.
All right, let me ask one stupid question.
No.
Can you have multiple DSU in a day, like a different time zone?
No. If you are in a team, everybody should be together. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, super question. I like it. Okay. This is the format I usually do. What you have to do, you have to list down all your team members. I have listed down 17 team members plus action item. So you can do it for first 1 week, 5 days. Okay. Put your date, take a printout of this blank page. Whenever the people are giving some input on their progress, for example, Venkat Jira ticket maybe 1 to 5, 6, and then Manoj is joining, maybe you can list down the names based on your sub teams or what is the order you are going to make, or you can go with the alphabetical order, whatever you want you can do. So for example, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then if Manoj is having some impediment, you can put a star here. So in the pen you can put a star, or if you have a double monitor, you can whenever they are telling the status, you can put it like that. So this way you can track your dependency. Once you, for example, Gagan is telling like 9087, and then Gandhimati is telling like 2, 3, 4, 6 like that. And then if they want to have a discussion on the dependency, you can put a star in the pen and you can do that. And then what happens if the person, if Indra is on leave, right? You can put it like leave. So or vacation kind of thing, whatever it works for you, you can do. For example, Neelam is not able to come for the DSU for today, maybe because his last meeting is extending, or you cannot give every day you cannot give this concession, but Neelam is telling I'm little bit late, or I'm not coming for the DSU, then you can put excused absence, so EA. And if Richa is absent or something, you can put a leave, or leave is for the vacation, planned vacation, or a sick leave or something which is informed. Richa is like not coming, not present, no information from her, so I am putting like absent. So at that time, if they are absent for more than 2 or 3 days, right, just check for 2 or 3 days, and then you can have a one-on-one call with them and ask them why they are not coming, what is the problem. So at that time you can see what is the problem and rectify the solution in your retrospective. So this way you can do that. And the action item, sometimes the action item may be like within the Scrum Master, you have something to set up a call for dependency of 4, 5, 6, 7. Like that, you can note it down in a pen, or you can do it in your Excel. So this way you can track it. Or for example, Manoj have to deploy the code for another story number. So like that, you can mention in a pen. In a pen, you take a printout of the sheet and do it. So that way it would be really helpful. And once you solve this action item, you can go for like you can tell the status in the next day DSU at the end of the call, or you can send out the action item in an email if there are many action items. So you can do that and track it perfectly. This way, people will like you as a SM because you are tracking each and everything. So I'm using these legends, like star means impediments or info needed, and NP means absent, not present, or you can put absent, and excused absent. For example, I could not come, but that person is sending the status, what he has done, any impediments, to the team, not to the Scrum Master, the whole team. And the Scrum Master will also be included in the email. And leave is like already a vacation leave or something like that. If you do this format, most of the problem will resolve. And also this, maybe the Gandhimati, maybe PO, that you can park it for the last in the status. And the Priya maybe a SM. I can also give some update on the release and things like that. So if you do this date wise, another problem you can solve. For example, Venkat is working on 1256 for 4 days. You can ask why you are working on 4 days. What is why it is prolonging like that? If the estimation is not like 2 or 3 pointers, why it is prolonging for a long time? You can ask that question. So that's why I have put it in the presentation. You can raise question whenever required. Then only the people have a hold on it. It's not like we are asking question and that is a micromanagement. It is not like that. So this way it will helpful. This format, you can use it for your team. But if you are well versed on your team structure and things like that, this may not be required after some time. But if you follow every day, I usually take this format and take a photo and put it in the Confluence page. I usually do that. So this format is very, very helpful on that perspective. You can also add your own format. For example, if you want to have some requirement clarification, you can have a hash symbol like that. So that way it would be really helpful. So any questions on this format?
Yes, Priya, as you told, right, 1256, for example, they are working on that for 4 continuous days. We can ask. Another problem faced is, for today, what's the plan? They'd say 1256, and next day they are coming to the call. They have to tell the status about 1256. Instead, if there's a different number, we can ask that day itself. Why you had a plan for during this yesterday's daily stand-up, you had a plan for that particular story, and now you are saying a different one. Why that
focus
change
is changing.
happened?
Yeah, for example, 4, 5, 6, 8, if they go into 4, 5, 6, 8, at that time you can check 4, 5, 6, 7 is completed or not from his bucket, like from Manoj bucket. So you can do that way. So this whenever you are starting as a Scrum Master, or if you are starting as a Scrum Master for a new team, this format will help you. So that way it is very useful for your understanding. And also, if your team is having 20 team member, if you are conducting DSU for 20 team member, it may not be possible, but sometimes the Scrum Master may be very limited in the organization. At that time, you can conduct the DSU for 2 teams together sometimes. At that time, you can list down so that you will not forget the names. For example, if the person Geetika is coming, so we have everyone's status here. Like I have all these status, but Geetika is coming late, like after 4 minutes or something. At that time, you can ask Geetika, because you know which one is which one is left out by seeing the Excel, right? Or by seeing your printout sheet. So at that time, you can ask Geetika what is the status. And if she wants to know the status, she can see the Scrum board, and she can also help on the critical bugs or issues. So this way it is okay. Any other questions?
No.
So with this, I'm ending the session. If you have